What's up, world? Lee here with Sticks, Strings, and Other Things, my teeny tiny little corner of the internet where I chat with you about the crafty things I've been doing. And today is kind of an extra, but this time it's a knitting extra. Yes, this is a knitting extra. And it's gonna be a game, and it's a game we're gonna call What the Heck is in This Knitting Bag? 'Cause I sure don't know. Yes. I have pulled out all of them. Now, I'm really hopeful that a couple of these will either be empty, actually finished projects that I just never finally took everything out of. Maybe even some might be a couple of planned projects that I never actually started. Because if these are all whips, oh, well, let's just say my liver will never forgive me if these are all whips. Right. Let's start with a really easy one. Oh, I probably should tell you what day it is. Today is Monday, January 30th, 2023. And I have no clue how many knitting whips I have. Other than, oh my gracious. Oh my gracious. Oh my gracious, sorry. My cat's just rolling around on the floor over there, happy as anything, begging for pets. Wait, let's start with an easy one. Living in this lovely ginger snap bag is not the project that was living in there earlier, because this is a new project as of today. This is, I still have the old yarn ball tag in there. Should take that out. This is my Icebreaker shawl by Gage Dye Works. And I started this today. So here it is so far. Very small start on this shawl, and it is going to be delightful. This is the Christmas yarn that my bosses got me and everyone else at the store. And oh my gosh, Gage Dye Works does all the maths. Look at this. It's self-striping. But because she does all the maths for a shawl, the stripes of color get slightly longer so that your stripes in your shawl stay about the same size. Genius levels of awesomeness. And I have a yarn bowl. I wonder if I'll find my missing yarn bowls. I might. That would be funny. Because I have like 4 or 3, and I have no clue where they are. Sorry, I got hung up. I got hung up on the bag. Anyway, that was today's start. So I know what's in that one. I also know what's in this one, my Joji Locatellia bag. This is my Knitspin Farms Chocolate Day self-striping socks. This is my work project, and it has made no progress since the last time I showed it. I'm still in the middle of the toe. That's a heel, but I'm still in the middle of the heel. And it is a lovely pair of 64 stitch basic socks. And I am going to pause for half a second, and I'm going to let my cat out of the room because the door is shut, and therefore the cat must be on whichever side of the door they aren't currently on. I'll be right back. So that was kind of funny. I opened the door to let Stella Kitty out, and who's on the other side but Phoebe Cat wanting to come in. Like I said, the door is shut, therefore the cats must be on the opposite side of whatever side they're on. Right, let's get going. I have another bag, if you can call this a bag. Living in this bag. We're gonna call it a knitting bag. Living in this giant sloth bag of giantness is my Hue Shift blanket from Knit Picks. This is the one that I decided I was gonna do twice the size, and did bad maths and promptly made it 4 times the size. So I have all the yarns in there and everything. So here is, and yes, I'm in the middle of a square. So let me. So there is that lovely, lovely project and all the yarns. Yeah, the less said about the size of this particular blanket, likely the better. Because it's ridiculous. It's gotten to the point where it's so ridiculous. That's half the reason I love it. All right, and now I might know some of these. I might not. So let's just randomly grab this one. This is a Slip Stitch Studio bag. Ah, Firefly bag. Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal. What is in here? Not a project. Just yarn. Okay. Nothing else. Nothing else. See? Nothing else. Well, guess what? That bag is now empty, and this yarn can get stacked right there to go into my spreadsheet. Perfect. Perfect. In here, Knit Me, is a project I know I haven't yet started. Because it's going to be a project from this particular book, Nordic Shawls, and I am knitting that lovely in Nordic yarns. So that also is not actually a project. Seriously, people, the stack over here is huge. Living in, ooh, my fox, my Autumn Fox bag by Fat Squirrel. I love her bags. Is my crochet Granny Stripe blanket. So this is half the width, by the way. So that's half the width, and there we are. Ta-da! Ta-da! My Granny Stripe blanket with a currently being used Magic Knot Ball, and the next one that is currently prepared, and I'm slowly starting yet another. Giant, as big as my head. Okay, it's not, but nice big bag. Nice big project. Nice big balls. Ha! I knew it was in that one. Living in another Fat Squirrel fiber bag, because I love her bags. And isn't that Night Kitty awesome? Is, again, what's in that project bag? This would seem to be yarns from an advent. It is potentially an advent. I haven't even started. It is in fact an advent. I have not started, but it wasn't a 24 day. I don't even remember what this one was for. But obviously it was supposed to be for something, because this is like C2-F. And has an extra lovely thing, and very important, an inhaler. Yeah, we're not going to keep the inhaler in the bag. What was this project? Well, it's not that project, I can tell you that. Evidently, a half and half triangle wrap lived in there once upon a time, and I didn't actually clean it up when I put the new project in here. I do not know what this project was supposed to be. Not a clue. Not great. Living in this, yet another Fat Squirrel fiber bag. Yes, it is National Parks. Is, I think, one of my knitting bowls. Let's find out. Yes, yes, one of my knitting bowls. One of the very lovely knitting bowls. The kind I always break. Maybe because I leave them in knitting bags and don't remember what they are. And attached to it is a swatch. A washed and blocked but left on the needles swatch. This was going to be a cardigan with a hood it's from Rowan. I don't remember the name of the cardigan. And it's this glorious red fluffy yarn. It's Rowan Brushed Fleece is the yarn. And I was going to be making a cardigan out of it. And I got gauge. I remember that. And hey, left the swatch on the needles. So I don't even have to worry about what needles did I use. I don't know. What needles? Looks like I was using Hiya Sharps US size 9 5.5 millimeter. Obviously never started this project. Still want the cardigan. So I should make it. Living in this lovely little slip stitch studio bag is all right. Christmas socks from not last Christmas, but the Christmas before. I finished one. These are Stranded Dye Works Christmas sock colorway from not last year, because he did not do one last year, from the year before, and it was popcorn garland. It looks like I did an umbrella heel and just a wedge toe. I'm sure it's 64 stitch because that's what I make. And oh, that's what I just did. I was like, I'm that far gone. I am partway through the leg. Partway through the leg. These are on my signature DP notes. I believe the mini was called Red Velvet. Lovely. I should finish those. Projects. Okay. I need to make some sort of order out of this. Alright, what next? It's Maleficent. And as the yarn is not even caked, I'm guessing this was a project I was planning. Ah, yes. Yes, it is. This is going to be a shawl. Oh, I don't remember the name, but I do know the shawl. And it's a 3-color shawl. And those are the lovely colors that it is going to be. It's probably a little small for this bag. So I'm going to take it out of this bag. And these are in Knitted Wit in their Beaujolais, Prussian Blue, and Tupelo Honey. And this is, I believe they're sport weight. Yep, sport weight. Oh, so it says right on there actually. Yes, this is going to be a shawl. I don't even know which one. I just don't remember the name off the top of my head, but I would when I saw it. I would when I saw it. Living in my another Fat Squirrel fiber bag because I love Fat Squirrel bags. They're the best. This is oh no, this isn't. This is, I apologize. It's very similar to a Fat Squirrel bag. This is not. This is a knotty knitting sack with book titles. It's a knotty knitting sack. Apologies. Right, different type of. Oh, right. This is another project that is not yet started, but is planned. These are all of my Amanda Knits yarns from one of her clubs. It was a supernatural club. And I was going to make a Vertices Unite out of these 6 yarns. I think you only need 5 for Vertices Unites, but meh, what's popping in one more color? So that was my plan for this one, and I obviously didn't get that far. All right. Ah, another project that is unstarted, but I know what it's going to be and everything like that, so that's good. Now this is one of my favorite project bags. It's a paper bag. Yep, Church Mouse paper bag. Glorious, huh? And look in here is a project I didn't start. But it is the Mohair Bias Loop shawl wrap thing. And I was going to use the brushed Surrey from Blue Sky Fiber with Sessia Bluebell, I think was my plan. That, or I was just going to use one of them. I'm not sure. I think I was planning to hold it doubled. Or these are 2 different projects and I don't remember. Could be either. Could be that I was just going to do the Mohair Bias Loop out of this. Well, let's look. It's been a long time since I made a Mohair Bias Loop. Oh yeah, you just used 2 skeins of lace weight. So obviously, yep. No, I was just going to do it with this. And I have 3 skeins of it because of the kind of thing it is. Because I thought that would be a lovely little wrap for, you know, things like Christmas parties. And then there was a pandemic and people don't do fancy little Christmas parties anymore. And I didn't need to make it. But I have no clue what the brushed Surrey was going to be. And I have 2 lovely skeins of it. So those are going to go there. And this is going to go here. Because that yarn all needs to go into my spreadsheet. There's the word. There's the word. Oh, and of course, I touched Surrey. And so now I have Surrey on my nose. I know that some of these projects I have the yarn in my spreadsheet. That's a hard word for me to remember today. But not all of them. I know that the brushed Surrey is in it. Not brushed, the brushed alpaca is. I know that these, I don't know that these are. Right. The Tupelo honey is, because I know that one is. All right, this is yet another project I haven't yet started. Well, I'm seeing a theme here. I like to plan my knitting, and I don't actually like to do my knitting, evidently. This is just a generic blanket. I wasn't going to use this pattern though, but I was going to use these colors. I was thinking of making a different blanket though, with these. It's a cotton acrylic blend, and I thought that would make a nice, like, lightweight, comfy kind of blankie that isn't really for cuddling up warmth, but is more for just, And I know that yarn is in my, well, I've got another bag. If you're offended by swearing, I'm sure you haven't been watching me. So, yes, I have a bag that says that, because of course I do. What is in here? Huh. I have half. Not even completely half. I have the beginnings of a pair of mitts. I still need to finish the thumb and obviously the other mitt. Fingerless mitts. They're very handy. I have the rest of the yarn and I have the needles. So, I didn't even know I was making these. What's in the bag? Those are gonna be nice. I should finish them. There's sparkle in them. This was West Yorkshire Spinners Christmas yarn called Silent Night, I want to say, from a handful of years ago. I have the socks. Right. It's a good project. I'm tossing it that way because it's a full project and I just need to get off my butt and finish it. What's living in another sweary bag? Socks. With the needles. Oh, these socks. I've completely forgotten about these socks. Obviously. I am using a pretty orange. And a lovely black, gray-y color from alas, it will never be known, for the yarn tags do not exist any longer. And it is a pretty sock. And then it has this fun detail down the back. I will end up likely having to restart these because they've been sitting on the needles so long. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. Hard to say. But it's usually not good to leave a project on the needles for tons of ever. But I did. And this is, what sock is this? Back when I printed out socks patterns. It's called Rocky Shores by Tracy Miller. And a lovely black and white photo right there. Well, I should finish that. Oh. Sorry. I know what's living in here. Ah, my laundry's done. Round one. These, this is Bags by Elsa and Granny. This is going to be a start for my Big Cozy Cardi by Andrea and Mallory, which I want to start very, very soon, but haven't, and ended up starting a shawl instead. Yeah. It's going to be on my list soon. Living in a fat squirrel bag of library cards. This is an advent. It is an unstarted advent. It is, which advent is it? Ah, it is not last year, year before. Don't remember the company, but they were books. So this was Jo March, Little Women. I think it was all women in books. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was Women in Books, which is why I put it in my library bag. And I still hadn't come up with a project for it. So it can live with this Advent project, and they can figure out what they want. Whoops, that's not the Advent project. This is the Advent project. These two can live together to figure out what they want to be when they grow up. This lovely bag, there's a lot of yarn in it. Shall we see? It's more of that yarn. More yarn for the giant bag, or giant giant, 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 giant blanket. So let's just shove it all in. To the giant tote. There we go. And notes on the project. And now I have another empty bag. Yeah. Yeah. We've gone down three bags. We've emptied 3 bags. We're doing great. Okay. Living in my Heidenhammer bag, I love these things, is, I don't know, I think it's my Stephen West shawl. It is my Stephen West shawl. And I have come to a conclusion with this Stephen West shawl, and that conclusion is I'm frogging it. I liked it. It was neat. It's a fun concept, but I am not going to make this shawl. It was cool looking. I actually really enjoyed the weird shape and all the fun stuff, but I kept running into issues with it, and yeah. Yep, it is now off the needle, and those yarns can be lovingly repurposed into something else. And this bag can become the home of that shawl once I remember what it's named. Well, that was refreshing. What's next? I think I found one of my other yarn bowls in my Alice in Wonderland bag by Slip Stitch Studio. I have no clue what's in here, but a yarn bowl. It's an advent. What project was this? Well, I'm gonna have to figure out what I was knitting. But it's obviously a bias scarf on the bias wrap with an advent, and I don't know which advent. And all of the colors are not in here. I have the leftovers and the one I'm working on. And a yarn bowl. All right. Well, I'm glad I'm finding my yarn bowls. I was wondering where this one went. It's a nice one. But yeah, this I don't know what it is. I don't even have a clue. Was this from this winter? Was this year's advent? This could be this year's advent. This past year. What project was that? I started one of them and then I set it aside because I knew I wasn't going to be able to keep up, and I kept up on the blanket instead. Oh, I bet you that's what this one is, which means it is that yarn. I point because I know where I put the rest of the Advents. Okay, well, I'm going to have to do a little research on that, but I think that's exactly what that is. Whoops. Yes. Yes, I think so. I think so. I think that's what this is. Okay, so I'm going to toss that direction because I think it goes with that Advent yarn. I could be totally wrong. Yay, mysteries! Gotta love them. All right, living in a knitted rainbow bag is a project that I never started. It's some very fluffy yarn. Looks a bit like Rowan brushed fleece, but I don't think it is. Nope, it's Knit Picks Wonder Fluff. And I guess I was planning to do kind of a weird shrug thing. Don't know the name of it. Ah, Rosa's cape poncho. It's a cape, it's a poncho, it's a poncho, it's a cape. Bless me. But I never got any farther than shoving it and that in a bag. Does not even look like I attempted a gauge swatch. So this yarn I know is not in my spreadsheet. So it will live over there where the other yarns that need to be put on my spreadsheet go to live. Well, this is a lovely bag. I don't know who made this bag, but evidently on the outside I say that it is a mitten whip. And I'm sure that is what I was going to turn it into. I was going to turn this into a pair of Selbu mittens. And this is some British wool. Ram Jam is the name. Daughters of a Shepherd, Ram Jam. And it was going to be a Selbu mitten. But I never did it. And so, I know this yarn also is not in my list. I'll take it out of this bag, as it never was started. I'm going to take my attempt at being organized bag tag off, and the bag is now empty. I obviously need to be more organized when it comes to my knitting. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. All right, I have another bag. This is by Longview Creations. Living in here is what is behind door number 3. Oh wow, these socks. Okay, these are a pair of socks that I just kept knitting and knitting and knitting, and I guess I was deciding to go in later and put in an afterthought heel, because otherwise there's no heel in this sock. And those are lovely. I should finish these. It's a nice little pattern. This yarn is Turtle Pearl in the colorway Bah Humbug, and it's cashmerino, so cashmere, nylon, and wool. Wow. Well, that is, merino is wool. Cashmere, merino, nylon. MCN. But yeah, there's no, I definitely need to do a full afterthought heel on that puppy. And perhaps make the other one. I found some lovely stitch markers in here. They're all Seattle based. Those are fun. I'm gonna take those out of there. Sadly, I do not have needles in here. Or not sadly, that could be a good thing. All right, another pair of socks where I have finished only one. Over you go. You'll notice I haven't even started the second one, which definitely shows you. I used to have a problem with second sock syndrome. I don't so much anymore, but I haven't gone back to fix the ones where I did. Obviously need to. All right, what's next? What's next? Living in my Feminist Yard Club bag. States it's a shawl. Maybe it is. Well, I got needles. And I have five skeins. I'm gonna make a wild guess and bet that this was going to be a Stephen West shawl. It's 5 skeins, and I say it was a shawl, but I never did anything. So I'm actually gonna put these back in here. I'm gonna take the needles out. Hiya US 6. I kind of was wondering where some of my needles were. Sitting in bags, not even in projects, just in project bags. I'm gonna leave the yarn in here so that I can figure out which yarn goes with which tag and put them in my spreadsheet. And then I can put them away. Because I don't even know what shawl this was gonna be. I have no memory of it, and it obviously wasn't even started. So, it was not a whip. Neither of those were. It was all lies. So you can go there. Living in my TARDIS bag. Right. Yes. I have the sock. It's not in here. It was a pair of socks that I was making, and I finished one of them and I never got around to making the second one. But I've seen the sock running around. I'm pointing over here because it was running around over there last time I saw it. It's a glorious sock. I've got the DPNs in here and everything. Well, that will join its brethren in the really I should finish that second sock pile. And if I find the sock, I can put the sock in here too. And I can then also maybe finish the bloody pair of socks. Oops, let's actually get that DPN to not be jetting outside the bag. Whew, tangled, messy yarn though. My gracious. Yarns are, look at that, look at that, look at that mess. Oy. That way. Okay, grab another one. This is a Tenny Casey bag. It's a lovely bag. I love it. I love the bunnies on it. Ah, this is going to be a High Sierra shawl, and that's as far as she got. So, High Sierra shawl. In grays, blacks. I still want to make this. You can live with the other ones, which are shawls that I want to make. Yes. Living in knit resist bag. The beginning of a cuff up sock. I hate cuff up socks. Toe up, sorry, toe up, not cuff down. Toe up socks. And it has lived here for like 5 years. I think I remember what the pattern is. I know I finished one of the socks. It's not in here though. You can live with your buddies in the land of, really, I would like to finish that pair of socks. All right. Look, it's another Alice in Wonderland bag. You might think I like Alice in Wonderland, perhaps. I'm betting it's a sock. It is. And I have one of them. Oh, that's a cool sock. Look, doing. That is actually a really neat sock here. I don't know what the sock pattern is, but at the very least, I left the sock in here, so I might be able to finish it at some point. Oh, that's gorgeous. Look at this. Look at this fun sock. That is a funky, funky sock. Oh, it's got a huge hole in it too. Huge hole in it right there. Looks like it got caught by something. Oh yeah, I'm just, making it worse. Well, you know what? It's a pair of socks. It has more than one hole in it. Most of the holes are meant to be there. Sorry, I was being a snarky person. Most of the holes are meant to be there, but this giant one on the side isn't. Do I want to darn a pair of socks and then start a new pair, or do I just want to rip this puppy out? There we go. We're just going to rip that puppy out. I don't know what yarn it is. I now have another bag. Living in a random Craft Vent 2017 bag. Oh, this is... This is just going to come off the needles because I don't know what it was supposed to be a sock. I do not use wood DPNs anymore because I broke one off and it's still in my arm. So we're just going to take those right off the needle. And these are now just a whole bunch of really lovely bits and bobs. Okay. Hold on a moment. My phone is blowing up and I'm not popular. So it's probably my kid. And my son. My son and the guy texting back and forth would be my guess. Right. My W-2s are ready. As is everybody else's. All right. So that is going to become just extra yarn. And hey, I've stopped 2 projects. This is an empty bag. So guess what, empty bag? You get to hold at least a couple of the other empty bags. All the empty bags go back here. Ah, itchy nose. Living in my It's Too Peoply Out bag. I love this bag. Is a hat that I started. It isn't an Oslo. It's either an Oslo or a slouch hat. Oh, it's a sockhead slouch hat. Sockhead slouch hat. And you can tell I done a great job of starting it. That's all I have. It has been on the needles for a very long time because I started this at the yarn store I worked at before the pandemic closed the yarn store. And it's some Shibui, which you can't even get anymore. Oh, goodness. Shibui, and I'm thinking it was Manos del Uruguay. Am I right? Manos del Uruguay, Alegria, and Shibui Knits Silk Cloud. Oh, that should definitely get done. Where was I putting the get done projects? Oh, most of the get done projects are socks, but this is like more than a sock. You can hold it there. Oh, Huh. Mohair, Surrey, all of it's in my face. This is living in Inconceivable. She forgot the name of the stupid movie. Inconceivable. Princess Bride. Ah, this is another Stephen West I never started, but it's the Starflake. And I do still want to do this one. I was planning on doing it in those two colors. Now, I still plan on doing this one. So, I have some Tuft Bay and Olive in there. Oh, it smells real powerful in there. It smells pretty good, but it's been in there for a while. So you can live, yeah, you can live there. You're a project I want to do. Living in another Ginger Snap bag is, oh, right, is a hat. Yes, it's a hat. Look, I got so far on this hat. I need to finish the hat. I have two hats down here that I never finished. Living in my bag. Another Fat Squirrel bag, just a small one this time. This is my Little Moments socks. So I have finished one of these socks. Proof, right here. And I am, since it's toe up, I'm partly up the foot for it. I like this sock. I will finish this sock. The only reason I haven't is because it's a lot of twisted stitches and a lot of finicky stuff, and I can't work on it for very long, but it will live with my other socks. We're up to like 4 socks that I haven't finished, people. 4 socks, 2 hats, and a partridge in a pear tree. Another Fat Squirrel bag, but I know it's living in here. Half and half triangle wrap. So close to being finished. So close to being finished on that one. And living in here, I don't remember who made this bag. I don't remember what's in it either. But it's got a fun rainbow zip. Ah, it is made by Katydid Bags. This is another Advent shawl. This was the High Tea colorway from not last year, but the year before. I forget what the project is, but I do know the project. And I evidently never went back to it. Totally should. Where do you... Not sure where to put you. I'm going to put you with my half and half wrap. Because you guys are close to getting done. And yeah. No clue. Oh, this isn't a project anymore. Yay. I can take the needles out. I can take the extra bag out. This is all the leftovers from my Advent socks this year. There you go. That's all that was left of the cuff from this one. Nice. Okay, awesome. So that's just extra yarn and some trash. Trash can go with the other trash. And an empty bag. Yes, yes, there's a couple empty bags. Ah, yay. We got some big bags over there, people. We got some big bags over here. I know what's in here. So we'll grab this one. Living in skulls. 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 This is a very giant hand. It's going to be essentially a dishcloth, more of a towel though at this size, a dish towel. So this is where my dishcloths live. So that's a project that I always have them on the go. I just don't do them as regularly as I should, and so they just kind of sit. But I know what this one is. I know where it's going. I know it is an on-the-go project that I usually don't talk about because it's just washcloths and dish towels. Goodness, they are just blowing up my phone, aren't they? Living in Matterhorn, Maine. That's the bag. I do know the bag. It's a Matterhorn, Maine bag. Yep. Yep. Well, whatever it was, I already decided to take it off the needles, but I haven't quite fixed the problem of taking it off the needles. I left the needles in here though. I think I know what this was supposed to be. But then I changed my mind about the yarn. The yarn I'm just going to put in a pile right there of yarn that needs to be frogged and rewound. And then this bag can just be an empty bag. Oh, goodness. The mohair in here and the surrey and the fluff and the dust and the whew. It's getting bad in here, people. All right. Living in my Hocus Pocus bag. What's in the bag, Lee? I don't know. Oh, it is all the yarns for a blanket knit along that I decided I didn't like. But I still want to do a blanket with all the yarns because they go together nicely. It's all Mad Taj Farm Twist. And so I have multiple skeins. And I have the months that they were released. But I don't know if I've come up with a replacement pattern. Okay. These are definitely not, very likely definitely not. Let's hedge that a little bit more. In my spreadsheet. So we will just make a little pile of spreadsheet yarns. Here they are. Boop. Well, there's a pile. I know what's in that. So I will tell you what it is in a moment. Let me grab 2 more bags over here. This. Oh, perfect. This is the other high tea yarns that go with the high tea shawl, which is this one. These go together. Yay! So it's 2 bags, but it's 1 project. Perfect. It works for me. living in my, that's a yada yamas. That's a lot of yama. Yama, because it's a double L, which is a Y. It's not a llama, it's a yama. Yama. Hence a yada yamas. Just saying. What's in the yama bag, Lee? Right, this is all the yarn for my rainbow garter stitch blanket that I started. Lives in the bottom of that basket over there, and I made it partway through orange. That's the rest of it. Here. So this is just undyed yarn held with yarn in a rainbow. And you know, I finished my Advent blanket, which was essentially the same thing. You'd think I could finish this one. Well, I should. It's a scrappy blanket, and it should get more work. Well, I will grab the yarns out of there and I will put them in there, and then the whole project can live together. I like this plan. And then in this bag, I know exactly what's in this bag. This is my giant Good Omens bag. Living in here, along with tons Row 1 minis, is my cozy memory blanket. It's huge, it's ginormous. I finish a whole stripe and then I weave in all the ends, and then I finish the stripe and I weave in the ends. So yes, you see all these ends right here. Don't worry, the rest of them are all taken care of. I can't prove it to you because I don't want to unfold it. This is a long-term project, but the blanket is getting, oh heck, I will unfold it. It's getting decently sized. So there's one side and the other side, and proof that she's weaving in her ends. Look. I am, where am I? On this side. So the last time I showed it on a floss tube was a long time ago, and then this kind of lived hiding for a while. I'd finished that one, and so I've added a handful more. And I am almost done with the next row. I have 4 more. Originally I was going to work on this yesterday, but life came up and I didn't. But lots of odds and ends and Row 1 minis and all of that live at the bottom of this bag because you need less than 5 grams. I haven't actually weighed, but it's like maybe 3 grams of yarn, fingering weight yarn, to make one of these squares. So I just toss a lot of my leftovers and occasional minis into this bag, into the bag, and then they go into this blanket. And then extras go into my magic knot ball. If the yarns are really big, I like these guys. I might try and make fingerless mitts and give them away. I might turn them into scrappy something or something else, or other things happen. I have a huge bin of leftover yarns though that I need to do something with. And that is all the yarn bags I know about. I am not going to say that it is definitely all my yarn bags because my life doesn't work that way, but it's all the yarn bags I know about. It's all the yarn bags I can think of. I definitely had projects in there that I had no clue what they were when they started or anything like that. There are projects in here that are over 5 years old. Be very proud of me for one thing, however. None of these are garments. They're all either blankets, not yet started shawls, a couple started shawls, a couple started hats, and a whole bunch of single skein or single socked socks. So I never abandon a sweater. I don't have multiple sweaters sitting over here with one arm. Be proud of me, because I am very proud of myself. I abandoned everything else, but I don't evidently abandon sweater. I have a whole bunch of sweaters kitted up, waiting to be started, but they're not in bags. Right. Well, I have a handful of things that I need to frog and take care of that yarn. And I have a handful of things that I need to put into my inventory. But other than that, that's all the yarn bags. I'm terrified because there are a lot of projects in here that I want and I haven't started, but I need to. So I think I should focus on this shawl, finish my half and half, this shawl, finish one of the hats, finish the shawl I'm currently working on too. Don't let that get added to the pile. All right, now that I know what everything is and I know what's in all the bags, now I need a plan, and I don't have one. I do not have one. I put things in different piles, but I don't have a plan. Right. I have a yarn problem. But now I'm going to clean all this up. I'm going to somewhat organize some of these bags so that they make more sense. And I think I'm gonna go knit while I edit and upload, because I have plenty of projects to work on, don't I? And I found like 5 pairs of needles. So, I mean, that I pulled out of projects, let alone that I left in projects because I don't want to have to try and gauge swatch again. Though technically, if you've waited a couple of years, you should gauge swatch again anyway, because over time your gauge does change, and this is why you should start the project shortly after you gauge swatch. You really should. You should. You should. Ay, ay, ay. Right. Well, I'm gonna get going, clean all this mess up, and get knitting, I think, on my icebreaker shawl, the one I started today. Because why work on an old project when you've got a new one fresh on the needles, and that's the one that's exciting you? This is how you end up with these bags. But that's what I'm gonna do anyway. So, I wish you all luck in your projects. Do you have yarn projects hidden in bags, hiding everywhere, that you don't have a clue what they are? If so, let me know. Let me know. Because I literally have 2 projects where one, at least I know I can figure out what the project is, and one that I'm very curious to see if I'm right, that it's from this last Advent, this last Christmas of 2022. I don't know. Maybe Editingly will have figured it out. Like, Futurely, who is doing the editing, maybe she'll have figured it out and she can let you guys know. So it's Future Editingly here, and indeed I did find out that that Advent project is an Advent project, but it is not from this past Christmas. It is the solstice wrap, and I am using the Dragon Horde July 31-day Advent thing that they did this past summer. So in fact, I was half right, and it was an Advent. It was from this year. It just wasn't Christmas. It wasn't Christmas at all. And the Advent calendar one that I'm thinking of, that project that I know I started at Christmas, yeah, I didn't find that bag. So that project is, in fact, still missing. Meh. Haven't found it yet. But, yeah, I decided that Editingly would come back and make mention of that. So, there you go. Solstice wrap. I believe Amba O'Brien. I put the actual text words in when I was showing the actual project. Right. Very curious to see if I'm right, that it's from this last Advent, this last Christmas of 2022. I don't know. Maybe Editing Lee will have figured it out. Like, Future Lee, who is doing the editing. Maybe she'll have figured it out and she can let you guys know if I figured out what that is. If not, you will never see it again. And that's how I will deal with it. All right, folks. I will catch you all later. Enjoy. Yeah. I need to knit more. A lot. Drowning in yarn. Bye.